Hi, I'm Shonda Miles. I just want to talk to you real quick about if you want your life to change, you got to change. And so I think we have these false expectations that things are going to change because we want them to change. We think that, there's like some magic that's going to happen, that somebody, is going to come and save us. Superman is going to come and save us from our situation, and things are going to magically get better. And it's just not going to happen. If you want your life to change, you're going to have to change. And we don't take enough responsibility for changing our life. It's not our employer's not going to change our life. The government's not going to change our life. Nobody's coming to save us. If we want our life to change, we got to be different. We got to change. We got to look at the inside of us, and we got to start looking at the things that we can do right now to change our life. And so I would say start with attitude and thinking. So the first thing I would do is look at my attitude. And so you just want to look at your attitude and see, are you mostly positive? Are you mostly negative? Do you have a good attitude? And so I'm amazed at the people that I can go to their house and they watch the news all day long. And I'm thinking to myself, no wonder you're depressed. You watch the news all day long. And so I think that we have to start thinking about our future. Like, this is your life. Do you want to spend your life the way it is right now? And so if you can make the changes, make the changes. And so we all can make the changes, right? We can. I was just talking to a lady, and she was complaining the whole conversation. She was talking to me, and I hadn't seen her in a long time. I was just listening, which is what I normally do. But if we're complaining, if our whole conversation is complaining, like if you 20 minutes in and you still complaining, you got some work to do, right? Because if you don't like your life, you don't like the things that's happening in your life, you're the only one that can change them. So you got to make the changes for yourself. You got to sit down and say, okay, if I got a bad attitude, how do I change my attitude? How do I start looking at things differently? How do I be more positive? And if you got to read a book about attitude every single week, just find your book on Amazon and read a book about attitude every single week. But you got to change. You got to be willing to change yourself if you want your life to change. And so if we look at it, with logically, if you are in a situation where you have been unhappy with your life for any length of time, if you've been unhappy with your life for 6 months, if you've been unhappy with your life for a year and things are still the exact same, you got to start looking at, okay, what am I doing? So I can look at my daily schedule. I can look at everything that's happening to me on a daily basis, my habits on every single day, and I can tell where my life is heading. I can tell if I continue to do these things, if I continue to do the same thing, I'm gonna get the same results. I don't want the same results. I want something better. And so if you want your life to change, if you want something better, you got to start looking at, okay, what is my attitude? And so when I talk about attitude, I'm always curious about why somebody could have a bad attitude. And so the first thing I go to is, and this is what you're thinking as well. So if you look at your thinking and you're saying, okay, if I ask you, are you mostly positive? Are you mostly negative? If you're mostly negative, I always attributed these two things. I look at attitude and thinking, what are you looking at? So what are you watching on TV? Who's speaking into your life every single day? Who's speaking into your life? So who's in your circle of influence? I look at, who are you listening to? What are you watching? Whether that's videos, whether that's television, whether that's subscriptions that you got, what are you watching every single day? If it's news, reality shows, what are you doing every single day? Who are you allowing to speak into your life? What are you listening to? So is it music that you listen to? What are the lyrics in that music? And so we got to be careful about who we let speak into our life. We got to be careful what we're voluntarily letting come into our lives, whether it's the news, whether it's social media, so we got to be careful. So the first thing we got to do is examine our attitude and our thinking. And then we can replace any negative thoughts that we have with something positive. We don't have to just let those negative thoughts kind of dance around in our brain. It don't even make any sense. Why would you, when you can control something, we need to control it. And so if you have negative thoughts that you're, just constantly, you got to replace those with positive thoughts. So just make a list of things that you could think about, positive images you can replace those negative thoughts with. And then as they come, and so they will, right? We all have negative thoughts. You got to replace those negative thoughts with something positive. And then finally, you got to look at What is it that you really want? And so most people don't know what they really want. They don't have a vision. They don't have a plan. They just walking around, just wandering around every single day. And so you got to sit down and think about, get clear on what it is that you want. And so not what somebody else wants for you, and not what you think that you should want, but what you really want for yourself. And then look at writing it down on a piece of paper. What is it that you want? And then what steps do you have to take? You can just do a brain dump, all the steps that you know that you would need to take. And then you can start putting those steps in order of priority, or things that have to be done first, things have to be done after. But just make yourself, put it on a piece of paper. Make yourself important today. Choose yourself before anybody else right now today, and just look at where do you want to go. Get crystal clear on what it is that you want, and then write down the steps that it will take to get to where you want to go. And just remember that if you want to change, nobody's going to change your life for you. And if they will change your life for you, you're not going to like what they change it to. You gotta make up in your mind that you're gonna get serious about your own life, and stop expecting other people to make your life better. It's not gonna happen. Somebody else can't come along and make your life better. Only you can make your life better. It comes first with the decision, and then you gotta start changing your attitudes, start changing your thinking. You gotta expect things to get better, but you gotta follow up that with a corresponding action and a plan on how you're gonna change your life. So if you continue to do the same things that you're doing right now today, in 1 year, your life is still going to be the same. And I don't know about you, but I don't want my life to be the same as it is right now today, a year from now. I want things to be better. But in order for things to be better, I got to be different. I got to change. I got to work on the inside of me. I got to take actions every single day on how I can, doing the things that I need to do to improve my life. And so you got to do the same thing. So if you're happy with your life, cool. But if you're not happy with your life, then you got to look at what changes do you need to make.